officially welcome to the third annual Composers Cook-Off for Portland Jazz Composers Ensemble. Thank you for being here. I'm going to get the band up on stage. I'm going to continue to talk to you for a second, but I'll let them get their spots. As I said before, I'm Meg Morrow. I'm the executive director. This is our fundraiser for the year. We are so excited to bring you a special cook-off with a little bit of a spring theme, okay? I am going to hand over the mic to our hostess with the mostest, Miss Marilyn Keller, and the Cook-Off Quartet. Thanks again for being here.
Sing two full verses. Hey, Mike, can you direct traffic a little bit on the solo?
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us in here today in this particular venue. Cozy though it may be, it has been the place for lightning striking for live music and jazz, in particular here in the Portland area. And we'd like to thank Aaron Barnes and the cast and crew of the 1905 for inviting us in here for this afternoon. So, as we move into this afternoon, I am the, I guess you call the MC, but if you imagine this afternoon being a competition of Master Chef or Chopped or Greatest of the Great. This song was chosen as the musical ingredients for the three composers who are going to be featured here today. They were given this song as a template for their compositions. And I am very eager to hear what each of the stellars have come up with for this one. But I was asked to sing it for you as we go into this competition. And this will be the first time I've performed this song, so it's good to be with the masters of the craft here. I know they'll buoy me up and give me wings to fly, wings to sing with, yes? All right. All right. This song is called Spring Can Really Hang You Up the Most. And I'm definitely part of that. I'm not sure if I have light disruptive disorder or anything like that. But I'm wearing bright colors so that I can will spring into being. And I'm keeping my thoughts clear and light so that when I wake up in the morning and I can actually see light coming through the window shades of my room, I'm like, okay, we're getting here. But on those mornings where the room is still dark at 7 a.m., I'm like, oh no, it's still raining. But we know that rain, April showers, brings May flowers, and we'll just get right into this. Gordon, do your thing. Once I was a sentimental thing. Threw my heart away each spring. Now a spring romance hasn't got a chance. Promised my first dance to enter. All I've got to show's a splinter. For my little flea. Spring this year has got me feeling like a horse that never left the post. I'd lie in my room, staring up at the ceiling. Spring can really hang you up the most. Morning's kiss wakes trees and flowers, and to them I'd like to drink a toast. I walk in the park just to kill lonely hours. Tell you spring can really hang you up the most. All afternoon, those birds twitter-twit. I know the tune. This is love, this is it. Heard it before, and I know the score. And I've decided that spring's a bore. Love seems sure around the new year. Now it's April. Love is just a ghost. Spring arrived right on time. Only what became of you, my dear? Spring can really hang you up the most. Mr. Bill Athens. That's my big brother, Mike Horsfall. Spring is here, there's no mistaking. Robins building nests from coast to coast. My heart tried to sing, so they won't hear it breaking. Spring can really hang you up the most. College boys are writing sonnets in the tender passion therein grows. But I'm left on the shelf with last year's Easter bonnets. Spring can really hang you up the most. Love came my way, and I hoped it would last. We had our day, now that's all in the past. Spring came along, a sweet season of song, full of sweet promise, but something went wrong. Doctors once prescribed a tonic, sulfur and molasses was the dose. Didn't help a single bit. My condition must be chronic. Spring can really hang you up the most. All alone, the party's over. Old man Winter was a gracious host, but when you keep on praying for snow to hide the clover, spring can really hang you up the most. Thank you. Gordon Lee, one of our composers tonight on piano. Christopher Brown, one of our composers on drums tonight. So imagine you're part of the Master Chef competition, and you've been given the ingredients for that night's dish. So now you take these ingredients, the melodic, the chord theory, the chord structure, and you take those ingredients and you create your own dish. That's what we've asked these three composers to do tonight. So as we go into the competition, the first composer, actually I'm going to introduce the judges first tonight. Kerry Politzer is one of our judges back there with her beautiful family. And Kerry is one of Portland's treasures. She actually won this competition last year. Was it year before? Oh, sorry. Both, okay. It was a tie, that's what I'll say. But Kerry has been teaching. She's been also providing throughout the shutdown and the quarantine. She and George, her husband, George Colligan, have been providing an outdoor live music scene right on their front porch over in inner southeast Portland, and we've appreciated that. Yeah, due to those little lights in the darkness, many of us were able to keep our sanity and to keep our instruments honed and toned. So thank you for those opportunities. But she'll be listening with a very, very educated and hopefully gentle ear today as the composers present. Our second judge is Aaron Barnes. Where are you, brother? Oh, okay. So Aaron is a working judge. And he's kept this venue open and thriving for us here in the Portland area. But not only here, he's been inviting in musicians from all across the world, country and the world, to present right here on this stage. And those of you who have been fortunate enough to be able to come in and catch those sets of music, I think you've got it down now where you do an early set, then you reset the room, then you do a later set. And I think one of the times that I was on the later set, there was still another set following. So it varies. It depends on who's, sometimes 4 sets in a day. And they've also been providing space for the new young lions who are coming up in the Portland music industry to come and not only present their skills, but to meld their experience with the professionals and the veterans of this community. And it's made for some, it's made for some very, very, what should we say, good metal coming out of that refiner's fire. And I've just been very, very happy to be part of it all. Our third judge is Mr. Jimmy Herrod. There you are. Yeah. And this is another bright light on the Portland area, from the Portland area for these last few years. Has it been 10? 10? At least 10 years. Jimmy and I, our paths crossed with the Northwest Children's Theater and School, which has now moved from Northwest 18th and Everett into the Performing Arts Center, into the Portland 5. It's now called the Judy Kafuri Center for the Performing Arts. And all of those students that were working with the theater school and that have been part of productions now have a very, very professional and modernized scene to go into and present their talents and their skills to the city. I was able to perform as the Dormouse at the Tea Party and the Red Queen, the Queen of Hearts, in Alice in Wonderland, A Jazz Nightmare. That was co-written by Ezra Wise, you all know Ezra, and Sarah Jane Hardy, who is one of the main directors of the Northwest Children's Theater. We did it first in 2009 and reprised it in 2016. And I hear there's some ripples on the water that we may reprise that one more time for the city. So look for me in my red shimmy dress with my headdress on and everything else. But Jimmy and I also did a tribute to Sting for the Portland Jazz Festival several years back that was curated by Daryl Grant. And hope to bring that back to the waters. So as we go through this, the first composer who is going to play is Christopher. Yes? Do I have the order right? Christopher Brown is going to present his piece. I'd like for you to introduce it and give a little tale about how you came to the concept for the piece.
You can clap for me. Go ahead. I'll take it. So, so if you think about the lyrics of Spring Can Really Hang You Up the Most, it's about the idea of every year. Well, okay, so it's the idea that you have hope that love is around the corner, but then it always dashes. So it's very similar to the weather here in Portland. You think it's going to be cool, and then it's not. And so that's why this song is entitled Portland Showers.
Masterful, masterful. Mr. Brown, would you stand and take a bow once more? That was so great. Now, I need to get the title one more time so we can cement that. Portland Showers is the title of that piece. And remember the elements all the way from the intro through the solos and onto the out and the finale. Keep that in your mind as we go forward in this cook-off. I think you used the ingredients very, very well, sir. It was evocative. Do we have time for feedback from the judges? All right, here we go.
Oh, goodness. Can you hear me? Yeah, I just can't hear myself over here. I love that descending B section. I love the surprise of the chord changes, the colors. It is very much, in that sense, it really reminds me of Spring Can Hang Up the Most, because there are these transitions that are, to this day, difficult for me. The variety within that song is really represented well here, and also it feels like your own song. It's really original. Yeah, I really liked it.
Absolutely loved this song. I felt like, in addition to what Jimmy said about the harmonic elements, which do mirror, kind of the winding harmonies of Spring Can Really Hang You Up the Most, the other thing that I found really strong about it was the structure, the structure of it, the fact that you had, hits, kind of like, the way that a Horace Silver song is always strong because you have an arrangement that's just really strong, and, that always, makes it so that it makes for a compelling listening experience for the listener. So I just really enjoyed this a lot, and congratulations on your beautiful piece.
So I think the first thing that caught me was the name of the tune. I think we often overlook names. No, I'm not kidding. Like, I remember in college, my conducting professor handed me a chart or a piece and gave us like 5 minutes to look over the whole thing. The first thing he asked is, "What's the name?" Not a single one of us in the class knew. So ever since then, I've always been like, "What's the name of the tune?" And I feel like the imagery was really brought out just immediately. You picked a name that really fit, obviously Spring, but also Portland. It was really well named. And I think just this, I know I'm echoing some of the other thoughts, but I think the way you brought it out of the bridge, which is so brutal. I mean, just coming out of the bridge is so ridiculous on that chart. It was really lovely. And then I also thought you really brought it to a contemporary place. My heart goes to, a lot of Stefan Harris and things like that. And I obviously with the vibes, it's easy to hear that. But I think harmonically and melodically, and like Kerry talked about with the hits, I think you really kind of brought it to the 21st century. I thought it was really nice. Thank you so much.
Thank you, judges. Now, is there a personnel change that goes into the next composer? Same ensemble, Caroline Miller. Do you wanna talk about it? Come on over here. And we really haven't had a lot of interaction, but I really appreciate you being a part of this today. And yeah, welcome to the pack.
Hi, I'm Caroline. Thanks for having me. Something that I noticed about the tune when I listened to it and paid a lot of attention to the lyrics, because I really care a lot about words and lyrics, is this sense of being left behind, or sort of like a little bit of longing and bitterness. You know, the world moves on and maybe you're stuck in sort of a nostalgic place. And so one of the lyrics, I was also kind of hunting through the lyrics to find little snippets of phrases that I could title, and I liked the phrase, the little snippet, all afternoon, kind of like that feeling of being stuck, you know, thinking about how things used to be and watching the rain coming down. And so yeah, that's kind of what my tune is about, just sort of this relentless march of time, and you're kind of stuck in the past. Oh, my tune is called All Afternoon.
Thank you, ma'am. Chevalier pour l'ensemble. Allez vite. Now that's what I call keeping it Portland. I want to let you know that these cards on the table in front of you with the QR code, you can read that code and it will take you to the silent auction. And we already have an update on the silent auction. We've raised $2,000 already. Yes, yes. Our goal is a little bit higher than that, so I'm not going to give it to you, so we can just keep moving the ladder higher on that goal. But I want to let you know there's a framed photo back here behind our artistic director, Mr. Ryan Marr, and it's called A Great Day in Portland. And it was conceived and achieved through the wonderful, beautiful mind of Professor Darrell Grant from Portland State University. Owen Carey gathered all of the artists that you see there in that photo at the Crystal Ballroom over across the river. And in that photo, you have not only the legends and the veterans of the jazz scene here in Portland, but you have some of the up-and-coming new stars. We have a legend in the audience that was in that photo that day, Mr. Mel Brown, right there. And I'm sitting in that photo right next to Miss Janice Scroggins, right there kind of towards the center. We have up front, Eddie Weed is in that photo. Ron Steen is in that photo. And Mr. Lee, what was Mr. Lee's last name? The big band leader? Rhinell is in there. I mean, to have that day take place, I felt like I was walking in history that day. I really did. And I still have my copy of it, but it's not as beautifully framed as this one is. So if you'd like to have a piece of history in your home or in your office, please bid on this photo, this framed photo, and tell the community that that you're part of, that I have this. I was part of this. I've seen this, and I have critical evidence of it having happened, and me being a witness. That's what we need to do in order to forward live music and its support here in Portland, in the Northwest, and all across the country and the world. People need to talk about it more. We need to talk to each other more. We need to interact with each other more. We have the Portland Jazz Festival, yes, of course. We have the Mount Hood Jazz Festival, which is coming up here pretty soon. We've got the Montevilla Jazz Festival coming up, and Neil's right here, who could probably raise your hand, Neil, so they can talk to you about that. I hope to be there on the Mount Tabor event that's coming up. Is that in May too? No, September. But you've got Labor Day weekend of September. Shoot, I'll be gone. But there's going to be a presentation this next, or did I miss it?
No, we have our little fundraiser coming up, but I don't think that's what you mean.
Okay. No, I was thinking of the walk.
We did that last week.
It was last weekend. They did a walk up Mount Tabor to tell people why these places are important and they need to be chronicled. And I think one of the best chronicles that we can have is music, don't you? Yes. So, again, if you're a live music supporter, spread your wings, fly, and tell the world. Don't fly too close to the sun, but definitely fly out there and let people know that live music is happening right here in Portland, and we have some incredible, stellar musicians who are presenting this live music to us, and we need to pay homage to that and pay attention to them. Our next composer, oh, I'm sorry, forgot to give the judges a chance to respond. Thank you very much. Madame, do you want to go first again?
Hello there. Am I on? So I thought this piece, it did a good job of capturing an unsettled mood, which is what I think a lot of us have in common, and what people. Oh, maybe is this on camera? Live stream. Okay, so it's going to be preserved for eternity. I guess I like the way that the chords move to unexpected places also, as they do in Spring Can Really Hang You Up the Most. And yeah, there's really a lot of there are really a lot of surprises in this tune, which kind of makes you feel a little bit like off kilter. I mean, you feel like that, especially at the end of the original tune. You're kind of like, wait, where is this going? And so it also has that element of unexpectedness, which I thought was really effective.
I would like to echo the unpredictability of it. Almost feels like its strength and its anchor is that you don't know where the phrases are going to go next. But when we get into the solo section, it's really nice because it's with all of its surprises, it still feels like a sense of clarity against the contrast that main form has over the head. I thought similarly, like you're saying, the progression. Its changes, its surprises really set the mood of our weather here. You don't know when it's going to come down harder. You don't know when it's going to lighten up, and you should have gone outside for that walk. And that, I thought it was captured really well in this.
So the things I really picked up on were like the parallel fourths, gave me that kind of pleasant instability of Portland weather on any given afternoon, not just all afternoon, but all afternoons. Really? Nothing? Man, this is dry. But I also, it felt a little disjointed, which may have been exactly the point. But for me, it felt a little unfinished. It's not a golden buzzer. Not for me. But I really enjoyed it. And I also agree, I have to echo that the solo section really kind of brought it together. It was kind of the glue for the piece. But I think with the counterpoint of the 16th notes and versus the 8th notes, I think it brought a lot of rhythmic complexity that I have yet to understand, but also really enjoyed listening to, but I'm still pondering. And that's my poetry for the day.
Sweet, very sweet. Okay, we've got one more composer to present to you today, and that is Mr. Gordon Lee. Yes, Gordon has been a staple of the Portland music scene. I'm not gonna even mention it. I bet it's close to 5 decades now, right? Is that yet?
More.
More? Oh, it's not, huh?
Well, as Ron Steen says at his jam sessions, with the Mel Brown septet for 73 years, Gordon Lee. Actually, he had the numbers wrong. It's actually 37 years. But that's a long time. Again, I want to acknowledge my man, one of the major influences in my life, Mr. Mel Brown, the drummer. Helped me out so much. So this song, Spring Can Really Hang You Up the Most, the words are kind of, love is a fleeting thing, and it's here and then it's gone, and so it's a little bit kind of melancholy. But I do want to read just the last line, which I think is actually very, very heavy, very profound, and that is, all alone, the party's over. Old Man Winter was a gracious host. I think that's sarcastic there. But when you keep praying for snow to hide the clover, spring can really hang you up the most. I mean, at the very end, there's this positive twist to the lyrics. I think that's really powerful and beautiful. Anyway, I took, those of you are going to hear that I've borrowed some phrases for my song, which I call, Can You Really Hang? Now, I have to say, when I've been asked that question by various friends and acquaintances, sometimes it was for very, kind of ominous, nefarious purposes. So this is hopefully sort of a cleansing, a moving beyond that. But this is, Can You Really Hang? You got the first solo through the full, right? And then, Bill, you got it. That's right. So the 2 A's, and then we come back in with the melody. Remember, we're professionals. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 2, 2.
Well, Dorothy, we ain't in Kansas anymore. You know, one aspect of this particular cook-off is that two of the composers are playing in the ensemble. Yeah. And I think that is really, really cool, because if you're in a cooking competition, there's some really cutthroat things going on there. You know, one of the other chefs might have gotten to the meat section and got the best pork loin roast, you know, before you got there, or they may have wandered by your kitchen and thrown a handful of salt into something that they should not have been. But these guys, they're brothers in arms and they're sisters in arms, and we are family. We don't do that to each other. We want to make the music the best that it can be, and we work hard to do that, and it involves a spiritual connection. We know that we're part of something greater than ourselves when we're producing this music. And we lay ourselves out there on the universe, and it gathers us up, and it takes us on a flight. And I love that about this music. That was a great piece of music, you guys. Thank you.
Well, there's so many good things about this that I don't want to say them all, so I'll leave some for the others.
What can you say?
First of all, I just really thought that melody was really strong. You know, the original melody of Spring Can Really Hang You Up the Most is really strong, but you've come up with a completely different melody that I'm going to be singing all the way home.
Yeah, I love the rhythmic variety. Just when you start to get kind of comfortable, there's just a slight change that you can still kind of groove into and dance along to. This feels like someone who enjoys playing in the rain. It feels very happy, and it actually also reminded me of another song, Watch What Happens, which I guess I would also say is a thing you have to do with the weather. You have to pay attention. I really like this one. I thought it was great that you could follow along because of how strong the melody was, like Kerry's saying. And then when it gets away from that, there's just other great moments. The solo section was actually really fun to listen to, too.
I also really enjoyed the melody. I gave them that note. And so a quick other note, if you would like to buy that photo and then leave it at 1905, we will post it prominently. So just think about, you could make the PJCE and then make another contribution to the 1905. Just saying. Otherwise I'll buy it. Okay, Gordon, beautiful piece. One of the things I'm just kind of a sucker for like college theory stuff. So like the the contrasting lines I really enjoy. I also really enjoyed the playing with time, with the ride changing to all that. And I appreciate that Chris tried to sabotage it and failed. No? Okay. Sorry. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out what else to say that hasn't been said. It's a really cool piece. I enjoyed. What I really wanted was more of the 6/8 feel. That's like my only comment. I really kind of wanted it to be more of a Can You Really Fandango, but it wasn't. It wasn't to be. But I really enjoyed the juxtaposition of the 3/4 and the 6/8 when it happened. But beautiful piece, and also thanks to the band. You guys crushed it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Aaron. I just want to say you can blame it on all the demented and augmented chords in there.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Are you sight reading, or did you have the tunes in advance?
Yes.
I hope it didn't sound like we were sight reading, but.
I've been in Europe vacationing, and so they all emailed me parts, and so I was on the plane, kind of singing to myself. So.
Yes and no.
Yeah, one more round of applause for the composer Cookoff Quartet. Okay, so you're actually going to be involved in this too. Now, judges, you have time to confer. You have to pick a winner, actually. Now, I know this is a friendly competition. Everyone's a winner. But we are crowning the 2023 Composers Cookoff winner tonight. An incredible prize. I hope you all are ready. But there's also an audience choice winner tonight. So our lovely assistant Lee, also a board member of PJCE, will be coming around with some small slips of paper. Each person gets one. You can vote number 1, 2, or 3 of the composition. So remember, the first one, Christopher Brown's. Second one, Caroline Miller. Third one, Gordon Lee. You can write their names if you like, but it will make it easiest 1, 2, or 3. We cannot play them again. Thank you to those of you who stepped up in the silent auction just recently. We are up to $2,315 on our silent auction. We only have 20 more minutes. And you streaming at home, if you're watching, you can get in. We only have 20 more minutes, and this is the last push, and this is a big part of our fundraiser. We also have a matching gift tonight that an anonymous donor has given us, but it is encouraged, and we only get it if your support comes through as well. This is really important here, okay? Because you showed up, you bought tickets, you supported jazz. That's amazing. You're supporting new works in jazz, which is what we do at PJCE. But we want to take that to $5,000, not just $2,500. So we're looking for your contribution tonight in the next 20 minutes to get us that extra $2,500. That doesn't mean that you have to give all the $2,500. You can. That would be awesome. We'll be done. We'll go home. But you could do 100. If 25 people can do 100, that's it. That's what we're talking about, okay? You can do more math. If 5 people do, you get it. Okay, so I do want to thank all of our sponsors, not just the donors that make this happen. Some Straight Consulting, if you don't know about it, is Douglas Diedrich's new endeavor of helping artists and organizations write grants, write their own artist biographies, figure out new projects, and develop it from start to finish. He has been doing it for PJCE for the last 8 years before I came on, and that's why PJCE is so successful. So, yes, thank you, Doug. Thank you, Substrate Consulting, for being our sponsor. We're going to get to our goal tonight because of that sponsorship. Also, that is one of the auction items. Doug has generously donated a meet to set up an artist bio, to really sort of bump up your own portfolio, to help with a project or grant writing. And this, you do not have to be in Portland. This can be done over Zoom, can be done over the phone. This is something, if you're an artist or you're the parent of an artist or a budding musician, this is something you definitely want to take advantage of. This is a deal and a steal. I also want to say, because I'm a drummer and I love Revival Drum Shop and they supported us so well, that they have gifted us a really nice prize package that I sort of don't want you to bid on because I want to take it home. But there's a bigger goal here. I just want to highlight that because there's a really cool trucker hat. There's a stick bag, a beautiful red snare case, and a $50 gift card to Revival Drum Shop. So I just want to put that in there. Montevilla Jazz tickets for 2 are on there. You've already met Neil. This year's festival is really exciting. I've gotten a little bit of a sneak peek of the headliners. I can't tell you. But just trust me, okay? It's going to be really good. We're going to tell you a little bit more about what we're doing with Montevilla here in just a moment when the artistic director gets up. But seriously, thanks to all the companies and the businesses in Portland that have made our silent auction what it is. I really just reached out to people. I said, hey, we're PJCE. We pay jazz musicians to write new works. And they were like, great, here's an item. I was like, that's how easy it was. That's how lovely the scene is in Portland, as you all know, because you're supporting it. So let's make it happen. We're going to give you updates. Has everyone voted? Okay, we're going to come around and collect those. You still have time to confer, so keep moving. I want to get my artistic director, Ryan Marr, up here on the stage. He's going to tell you what's coming up for PJCE, so get excited for that. Ryan, come on down and give us an update.
Doing the 1905 dance here. Was this a no for me or for?
That's our update for silent auction.
Okay, great. Okay. Hi, everyone. Ryan Marr here, artistic director of the PJCE. I have an update for you. Do I give the number? I give the number. We are up to 2485. 2485. So, and we're trying to get to 6 million. So you get the. And you can donate online, so do that. Phil Knight, you can call Phil. I think he's trying to buy the Blazers, is what I heard. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for being here. This is really fun. It's always fun to be at 1905. Try to give you the quick and dirty on why I'm up here. But as I was coming up here, I saw this little card that was on our tables, and it's like, it lists, we're all here for a fundraiser tonight, right? Like, we know that we're supposed to give some money, myself included, to, like, get your pocketbooks out. But I see, like, wine, baseball, fishing, music. I'm like, is this a GoFundMe for my life right now? What is this? All these are, like, my favorite things. Hopefully some of them are your favorites, too. I'm just going to make a quick pitch. This is not on my script. I'm going off script. But, like, why should you give us money? And we're all adults here. In fact, I think I'm probably one of the youngest people here. But I would say that you should give us money because we do cool shit that wouldn't happen otherwise. And I think this event is a great example, but there are so many more examples that I could think of, and I'd love to talk to you about them after. But we just make so many things happen in this community that wouldn't happen otherwise, and we let my friends, fellow artists, do things that they've always been wanting to do, and we've been doing that since before Douglas and I even got involved over 10 years ago. So please continue to support us so that we can make cool shit happen that wouldn't happen otherwise. Speaking of cool shit that hasn't even happened yet, but will, we are playing at the Mount Hood Jazz. Battery's going. And that will be the full ensemble playing the music of James Miley. He wrote a really cool suite called Watershed, and this is one of those examples. We approached James many years ago, and we're revamping that suite, but it's in tribute to, that's kind of a play on words, the watershed of Oregon, and some of the really great waterways that are inspiring ecologically and also just for people and their experiences. So that's May 7th at the Mount Hood Jazz Festival and the College Theater, and I think we start at 5. And then after that, our concert, The Most, The All of It, is, help me with the date, June 2nd? June 2nd, and that's at the Old Church, and that's a collaboration with a bunch of poets, including the Poet Laureate of the state of Oregon, and a bunch of our favorite composers, and our full flagship ensemble, which is comprised of some of the most important musicians that this area has to offer. More cool shit that wouldn't have happened without Douglas's idea there. That was a good one. So spoken word combined with original jazz composition. And then in the summer, as part of the Montevilla Jazz Festival, we are kicking off the Montevilla Jazz Festival on Friday, September 1st. I have that right, Neil? At Mount Tabor Park in the amphitheater, and it's Views of an Urban Volcano. It's a community-inspired work. We are getting input from around the community, and it will be an amazing free concert on Friday, September 1st with the flagship ensemble and 3 really great composers that were selected through a community process. This mic is killing me. So I made that quick little joke about me being one of the younger people here. I would like to pass the mic to someone that is an important part of this organization that is making sure that more younger people come out to things like this and for generations to come. The Director of Education, Mika Brueggemann.
I have to have the magic touch in order for this microphone to work, so hopefully this will work. Hello, everyone. Just on a personal note, I just have to say, after a really hectic weekend of double headers, doing rehearsals and gigs of various sort, being able to come here and see all of my loved family, community, and friends here is just really a treat. It's one of the reasons why I really love the 1905, and one of the reasons why I love the fact that I think I am the oldest standing member for the Portland Jazz Composers Ensemble. When Andrew Oliver started this back in 2007, yes, I'm that old now. And so, you know, when I was asked if I wanted to be a part of the education, you know, component that they were just starting up, I said, well, of course I do. So the Young Jazz Composers Program offers mentorship for students that might be interested in trying to find their own voice in composing for jazz, but maybe don't have that opportunity in their middle school, high school, or even college classes. And we give them amazing mentors. I have a whole roster, and this year it includes George Colligan, Ezra Weiss, Clay Giberson, Galen Clark, Michelle Medler, and Todd Marston. So, you know, kind of the heavy hitters amongst our composition community, and it's so exciting that these students get to work directly with these students. They get 5 lessons, one-on-one lessons, and then we also offer workshops. So our musicians, our quintet, will perform their pieces and kind of talk them through. You know, what does it take to get what's in here on a piece of paper and easily playable for all of our musicians. And then at the end of that, they get to perform here at the 1905 on Monday, May 15th. And that performance is recorded for them to either add to their resume or to put onto their college application so that they can continue to, you know, work on their creative voice. And selfishly, of course, yes, we do want them to eventually be able to write for us, which is the whole vision, but also a big component of that is for them to be able to find their own creative voice. We're all creative people, whether we choose to admit it or not. And so being able to find where our voice lies with our own creativity, I think is really super important. So one of our goals is to try to sponsor 5 of our students for next year. We already have 1 covered, so we need 4 more. And so if you are interested in that, you can come see me. You can also upload the QR code and donate some money to be able to sponsor so that more of our students are able to find their own creative voices. And so with that, also, I did want to mention, so I think last year, if you all were a part of the Composers Cookoff last year, we had just filled out an application for the formerly young audiences. Now it's called Arts for Learning Northwest, and we are offering a program. They are kind of a bridge between awesome organizations like us and public schools that really want some kind of educational, interactive programming. And so we're offering a program called Music and Lyrics of the Blues. And we will bring some of our musicians into the schools to be able to talk about not only the history and significance of the blues, but then again, so that students can kind of play around with and create their own lyrics to the blues. So that's something that we've just got started and are getting into for this year. So we keep trying to spread the word and trying to get more and more people to compose for us. So that's kind of what we're about. If you're interested in more information, please come see me and talk to me. And without further ado, I'm going to hand it back over to Marilyn.
I will take it back. I've always said that many of the advances that we've made in music and music education has come from community access and community input. So I'd like to invite you all to go to pjce.org and sign up. Sign up to become a sustainer or a sponsor, supporter, volunteer, because as we move forward, we're going to need help putting these events together. And we are actually opening up the membership of our governing board right now. We have 2 new members that we're inviting to join. One of them is Ms. Kerry Politzer. And I came onto the board 3 years ago at the beginning of the pandemic, yes. They were in the process of rewriting their strategic plan and also answering the call from many artists and organizations to diversify and include a more diverse voice and face in PJCE, and we've done that. We have achieved that. My initial experience with PJCE was as an artist, and I had a suite of music written for me called From Maxville to Vanport, which spoke to the history of Oregon in the 1920s, where a logging company up in the northeastern corner of Oregon logging a tract of land at the base of the Wallowa Mountains called Maxville, and they brought up black loggers from the southeast states and the central states and brought them to Oregon at a time when it still had exclusionary clauses in its constitution. These loggers came up and they helped log this tract of land to a succession, and when the company pulled out, they told the loggers, "You have to go back home now." And the loggers informed them, "No, man, we can't. We've lived up here for 10 years. We've been outside of those quarters of that control of Jim Crow for over 10 years now. If we go back there, they'll not only kill us, they'll kill our families because we are now rebels. We have lived in a different scene and under a different mindset." And so some of those loggers stayed in that area in Northeast Oregon, Central Oregon, Upper Central Oregon. Some of them moved up into Southeast Washington. And some of them actually ended up in Vanport, the city on the river, which was flooded in 1948. So having been displaced 3 times within 2 decades, that tells you the resilience of a people and the brilliance of a people that were able to survive all of these movements and still remain a vital part of this community. So we want to ask you to become a viable part of the PJCE community. We want to hear the name Portland Jazz Composers Ensemble being whispered and shouted and sung all over Oregon, because this music has to survive. Without it, we know that life would stagnate, and stagnation is the little death, right? Keep the music alive. Tell the world you were here today. Tell those that weren't able to come, you missed a good thing. You missed an incredible thing. All right. We have the audience choice, and it is Christopher Brown. Ha-ha. Oh, yeah. The conferring of the badge. And we want to let you know that we are up to $2,535 towards our goal today. Please keep it coming. Those of you online, we'd like to ask you to dig a little bit deeper. You didn't have to come out in the cold and rainy weather today, so you didn't have to spend any gas money to get here. Put it into the fundraiser. We now have a judge's choice. Are you going to confer that?
I don't know how to to say this other than to say thank you to all the composers. And Caroline, it's a pleasure to hear your work. And I haven't met you, but it's nice to meet you. The judges have decided that the Cookoff Award goes to Christopher Brown. Chris, are you drinking whiskey? Also, thank you to Marilyn Keller for emceeing tonight. Thank you to the PJCE, Meg Morrow, Douglas Dietrich, Ryan Marr, and all the board members. And thanks again to the band tonight.
All right, the silent auction has reached the goal of $2,835. We don't know who has won what yet. There's still 5 more minutes to bid on the auction. And chop it up, folks, chop it up, because without that, you could have a very bland evening. We don't want that. Thank the composers once again for delivering today. I think we all came away with a good taste in our mouth. The chew factor was high, and the flavors were exciting and scintillating. And thank you very, very, very much for giving us your experience, your veteranism. We really appreciate that. Thank you for your youth and your new vitality being breathed into the music. We'll be working it out together here. Folks, another thing about the educational services that PJCE and other organizations in Oregon and beyond do, these are only possible through your auspices, through your donations. So find a spot and get there and stay there. I just donated to the all classical station this year for the first time, but I know they've saved my life in traffic many, many times, you know, because once I turn the music on, my wah is safe, you know, my spirit is safe. I can't even listen to KMHD on my car radio anymore because the music gets a little bit too exciting and I get a little bit too profane. So listening to classical music keeps me calm and keeps my vocabulary a little more ladylike, shall we say. That's right. So the food has been set. The table is set here at the 1905. I know that there are 2 more sets by young Cyrus Nabapur later on this evening. Do we have to reset the room, guys? The room has to be reset. So how much time do we have for that? Okay, it's 6:03, and we have to reset the room. So if you've paid your bill, do not leave without paying your bill. We do have to reset the room for the later music, and keep the 1905 on your entertainment dollar list. Thank you. Cyrus Nabapur.
Hello, everyone. I'm back because the sound of my voice is a blessing to you. First of all, thank you again for coming out, supporting PJCE, and patronizing the 1905. One of the things that I don't think can be overemphasized is the importance of supporting small venues, not just here in Portland, not just the 1905, but anywhere you go. We encourage you to find live music of any style, and if it's good enough to listen to, it's good enough to pay for, and you make a big difference in the musical community. So thank you so much for being a part of it here, but we do encourage you to go far and wide and be advocates for this crazy, awesome music that we all like. Also, all the artists on this stage will be on tonight. Will be on the stage again. Mel Brown will be here in a couple of weeks. Christopher Brown plays here every Wednesday. Gordon Lee is going to be here a couple times in the next few months. Mike Horsfile and I are scheming, and Bill Athens is a regular with a lot of bands. So you'll see all of these artists again.
And he's going to be calling me soon.
Yeah, Marilyn Keller. I have threatened Marilyn Keller so many times to do better. I'm just not very good at threats. But I'm going to do better. And we thank you so much for coming out. Do bid often and bid high. And it makes a big difference to this community. So thank you so much for being a part of our world, and get home safely. Thank you very much.